Front brakes. The front brake hose, as indicated by the red arrow, connects the hard line, yellow arrow, to the caliper, green arrow, not shown. You're going to be opening the brake system up. Once you do this, you must completely bleed the entire brake system before you attempt to drive the vehicle. Do not attempt to drive the vehicle once you have opened these lines without completely bleeding the system. Follow the link at the end of this video for instructions on how to perform that. You must remove the hardline fitting first, as the line attached to the caliper needs to spin to remove or install it. Begin by removing the plastic piece that supports the wheel speed sensor. It just unclips, red arrow, from the brake line. There is a mount attached to the chassis that supports the brake line connection, green arrow. The hard line, red arrow, enters from the top. The fitting on this line is the only thing that should turn when loosening. The flexible hose line going into the caliper, yellow arrow, enters through the bottom and is held in place by corresponding notches in both the hose and the mount. There is also a metal clip on top that holds everything still. The required tool for the hardline connection is an 11mm flared nut wrench that fully wraps around the brake line nut. If you use a standard wrench, then there is a high chance of rounding off the corners and permanently damaging the hard brake lines. These fittings are not very strong and will become stripped if you don't use one of these wrenches. The other disastrous thing that can happen is the fitting can get stuck to the rest of the hardline. The fitting is supposed to turn and rotate on the end of the line, but sometimes it will become too corroded to break free. When this happens, the fitting and the line will usually twist together and it will break the line in half. Carefully clean around the fitting and place the flared nut wrench on the fitting and turn. Be careful when you are removing this fitting to make sure that you are not twisting the line. If the fitting is stuck, try some penetrating oil. You can now remove the hose from the bracket. If you are going to be installing the new line at a later time, make sure to cap the end of the hard line fitting. Remove the hose line from the bracket at the base of the strut. Using a 14mm flared nut wrench, remove the line from the caliper. The line will need to spin to be removed and installed, so you must remove this connection last and install it first. Installation is the reverse of removal. Never put any sort of Teflon tape or Loctite on the threads or fittings. Now you must properly bleed the entire brake system after you're replacing one of the brake lines. Do not attempt to drive the vehicle until you have properly bled the system. Again, please see the link at the end of this video for further assistance. Rear brakes. The rear hoses are similar to the fronts, but have a wire wrap around them for additional protection from debris. The hose, yellow arrow, attaches to the hardline, red arrow, and the caliper, green arrow. You must remove the hardline connection first. The 11mm fitting on the hardline, red arrow, is removed in the same manner as the front line. Use a 14mm flared nut wrench and remove the line from the caliper. The line will need to spin to be removed and installed, so you must remove this connection last and install it first. Installation is the reverse of removal, and again, you must now bleed the brake system. Please follow the link at the end of this video for further assistance. Thanks for watching. Click here to view the original article, along with hundreds of other DIY content for your car.